Okay, it is the next morning actually, but this is yesterday's vlog again. I'm feeling so much better today, and I had some coffee this morning with some sugar-free French vanilla. I just thought maybe putting some heavy cream in it was going to, not only, it does add up the points, but I didn't think my tummy would be able to handle it just yet. I'm feeling so much better. I think I could probably eat regular food today. So I just wanted to let you know it was like a 24 or 36 hour bug, whatever it was. And I think the stomach thing is maybe a thing of the past. So yay. Anyway, I wanted to thank you guys for all the well wishes everybody gave me for, when I was feeling kind of ill. And those words are always so comforting. I just wanted to say thank you. Okay, so I wanted to share some things with you because I don't want to put out, doing, Vlogmas is a challenge because some days, especially like when you're sick or something, you're just not going to do anything interesting. But I still want to talk to you about stuff. And I thought this was really interesting, and I don't mean to be offensive in any way whatsoever in doing this. So please, nobody get offended in any way from this. But I was just thinking, I'm a data girl, right? I like looking at data from stuff. I like scientifically looking at things and seeing cause and effect, right, and things like that. And it makes me think and helps me to make a plan. And I think that's what I was talking about in yesterday's vlog about knowing limitations, because I think it's important to live without limitations to a certain extent in certain areas, right, so that you can fly and be free and develop. But at the same time, you need to know limitations, what your limitations are, so that you don't fall in those pitfalls, right? Know what maybe I want to say your weaknesses are, so that then you can make your strengths even stronger. So anyway, this is part of all of that. I was thinking about I was reading about different Hollywood stars, and one of them, I'm sure I'm butchering her name, Charlize Theron, I think is her name, the one that starred in Tilly, which I want to see, I haven't seen yet. But she had to put on, I think, 30 pounds plus, maybe 50 to do that role. And she said, I remember reading how she said that it was really hard now that she's like over 40 or 45 or something. It's really hard for her to take the weight off. It wasn't like when she gained weight for another role. It's her body's a little bit more stubborn. And so that got me thinking, and because about stars putting on weight fast and then taking it off fast and things like that. And I thought, how do they put on, the weight fast? I've heard of different ways. Everybody has their own way of doing it, but it kind of has, I thought, it'd be kind of fun to look at some of these ways they have gained weight very quickly, because then therein lies a lot of the pitfalls, right? Now, one thing that I want to say at the beginning and at the end of this little chat is that 80% of the time is what is important. If you follow an 80-20 rule, many successful people, as they do, they will all tell you, if you follow 80-20 rule, you'll probably be okay. That's what they do. 80% of the time they're on point. 20% of the time they fudge a bit, right? And they play with and they live in, right? And so that's what happens. But anyway, so let's go. I found a few of these stars, and I thought I would tell you how they gained weight fast, just as kind of like a little fun fact, and then we can kind of like, think about those things. So Matt Damon, who was the informant, right? Matt Damon had to gain weight for the informant, 30 pounds, right? In order to do that, what did he do? He drank dark beer, had a lot of Doritos, and Mickey D's value meals eaten between meals on the set as part of his plan to gain the weight. Let's go on to the next one. Jared Leto, for the movie Chapter 27, he gained 60 pounds. Foods consumed, okay, to prepare himself for the movie, he's usually slim. He gorged on entire large Domino pizzas for dinner. He also ate whole ice cream pints, microwaved, mixed with olive oil and soy sauce. Ew. It sounds kind of gross. Megan Fox, for the role in Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, She was thought to be too skinny for the role, so they wanted her upped a bit. She put on 10 pounds. She needed to put on 10 pounds, and she did this by eating 3 meals a day instead of the usual 1. Yeah, that's right, 1. And she had red velvet cake at night. So apparently she had more calories than what her body was used to having. Renee Zellweger, Bridget Jones' Diary, and I've never said her name quite right, but anyway, I like her. She gained 30 pounds for that movie. And so what she did, she didn't really talk about it a whole lot, but from what other people have gathered, she did everything from pizza and chocolate to spirulina and flax oil shakes. So basically what I'm seeing the trend here is that a lot of these stars are just adding, they're upping their calories. Computer froze up, sorry. All right, George Clooney for Syriana, that movie. He gained 35 pounds, and he did that by scarfing donuts and chips and completely stopped exercising, which was hard for the naturally active actor, made him depressed during filming. So that stinks, but Robert De Niro for Raging Bull. He was the first actor to dramatically change his body for a role. Okay, so what he did was he halted, the director halted the production for 4 months so that he could gain the weight. And he ate huge plates of pasta and buttery delicacies at French restaurants and put it on pretty quick. Beyonce for the movie Cadillac Records. She was going for the role of Etta James, and she had to put on about 15 pounds for the role. She consumed, she wanted to be a little curvier, so what she did was she went to macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, and butter pecan ice cream to put that on. Sylvester Stallone for Copland. He actually had to put on 40 pounds for that. Interesting, because he was a cop. Huh. Anyway, okay, so what he did was he became a daily diner at a local pancake restaurant known for its huge pancakes. A lot of carbs and calories there. Russell Crowe for Body of Lies. He gained 63 pounds for that movie, and what he did was he ditched his gladiator type bod and I'm reading this. Went doughy by eating cheeseburgers for breakfast and copious amounts of Sprinkles cupcakes. Stacey Fergie Ferguson for the movie 9. She gained 13 pounds for that role. And let's see, what did she do? She ate everything fried and full of fat and salty. One of her favorite go-to dishes was fish and chips, specifically. All right, Charlize Theron, not sure I'm saying her name right, for the movie Monster. She gained 28 pounds for that, and what she did was she had to, she gorged on Krispy Kreme donuts and potato chips. Wow. So very interesting, very interesting. Now, another thing I wanted to talk to you about was, along this same line, was I was really interested on how sumo wrestlers gain their weight before, because they have to be as strong and as big, fat, as possible, right, for the sport. That's the way that it is. And so I looked into that a few times, you know, just as a research project. I thought that was interesting. And the thing about sumo wrestlers is it's very important for them to be athletic, right? They're huge, but they have to have the strength and they have to have the stamina. They work out from 2 to 4 hours every day, right? So what they need is not to have like visceral fat, the fat that goes around your internal organs, because it's very dangerous. What they need is subcutaneous fat. They need the fat that sits right underneath the skin that makes them kind of puffy, right, on top, and it makes them big. Okay, so how do they do that? So I wrote down a few things. I was going to read to you basically their diet and their workout regimen very quickly. Some of these, well, not the whole thing, obviously, just hit some key points here. So basically what they do is they skip breakfast, right? They used to, I think, way back at the beginning of figuring all this out. They've really figured out how to do this. So they used to eat a large breakfast, but what they found out is eating several meals throughout the day will not grow your appetite, right? And so they needed to grow the appetite so they can get in more calories, because they need to get in anywhere from 10 to 20,000 calories per day. And they couldn't do that. That's why they say eat several small meals a day, right, when you're on a diet, because that actually does keep your appetite down. It keeps you from overeating at those meals. And so they ended up skipping breakfast to do that for that reason. They also work out fasted, which again, they work out 2 to 4 hours daily. So that sounds like intermittent fasting and working out fasted, right? Now that does not make you fat, right? But what they're doing is trying to build up their appetite, right? Okay, so then they eat, when they do eat, they eat 1 to 2 large meals during the day, right? They eat mostly higher carbs, with some little to no fat in their meat. So I thought that was really interesting. It's mostly carbs. And so that they don't have a lot of fattening meats, right? Also, they eat a ton of calories. Obviously, that's what their goal is to do. And they drink beer with their food, right? That's very important. If you work out if you work out more than 45 to 60 minutes a day is not going to increase your cortisol, right? If you increase your cortisol is going to pack on the pounds, especially while you sleep, right? This is what cortisol does. So this is what sumo wrestlers want to do, is pack on the pounds. So they work out fasted like that to raise their cortisol, and then they eat high amounts of carbs to raise their insulin, because insulin is a fat storing hormone. So this is a surefire way to pack on the pounds. Then they eat a whole bunch of calories, a ton of calories, right? And so they eat it with alcohol, because alcohol will again raise the cortisol and trigger a fat storing response. So the alcohol, after a long workout, right, and tons of carbs, you're going to gain the fat. It's just the way that it's a formula for that. It's what they do. And then they go right to sleep. This is very important. Go right to sleep after each meal for 3 to 4 hours every day. So the first meal, they'll take the nap. And then after the second meal, they go to sleep for the night. And that is very important, because they ensure that the body hangs on to all those calories and turns them into subcutaneous fat. So I thought that was very interesting to pass that along, because as we're going over this 80-20 thing in our mind, of the purpose of me showing you all those stars and how they ate quickly is not to make you afraid of having those things, but to make a plan and look at the pitfalls and go, I can still have these things. I can have them during my 20%, or I can, if I want to have them a little more often, let me make a plan and find a Weight Watcher recipe or a keto recipe or something that brings down those carbs and calories, that makes it more legal, and I can enjoy it and still stay on my 80%, right, during this time. And so that, and then also let's look at the sumo diet to see, oh my goodness, because sometimes we go, what did I do this week that made me gain a couple of pounds? Maybe we were kind of not 10 to 20,000 calories a day, but maybe we were following some of these key points, and maybe that helped us to maybe turn on the fat storing hormone a little bit more, right? Did we do something like that? Anyway, it's all food for thought. That's all it is. I just wanted to put out something out there that was interesting for the day, and I will see you guys later on the next vlog. All right, any thoughts? I'm interested in hearing them. All right, you guys, I love you a lot. See you later.